Esteemed royal author Tom Bower insists the Sussex psychodrama is about to get even nastier. So, Tom Bower, what are you expecting?
Well, I think that, as we predicted, she did a stunt. It wasn't a very good one on Coronation Day.
Picture this. The ancient stones of Buckingham Palace gleam under the London sky. The royal crown resting on its velvet cushion, a symbol of centuries-old tradition and power. But behind those grand walls, a storm is brewing, one that threatens to shake the monarchy to its core. The world's biggest royal event is underway, the coronation of King Charles III. The eyes of millions are glued to Westminster Abbey, where history is being made. The streets are lined with crowds waving British flags, the air electric with anticipation. Yet, amidst all this grandeur, there's a glaring absence. Prince Harry, once the golden boy of the royal family, is nowhere near the centre stage. The cameras search for him, but he's not among the key players.
But what's really going to happen now is they will plot something which will really hit the royal family in a way, because I think Harry went back pretty angry, clearly. And what really worries me is that the royal family is now a moving target, a soft touch. Charles showed that he won't answer back. So whatever is thrown at him, he's just going to take it. And I think this is the real danger now.
The thing is, Harry is clearly furious. He clearly feels humiliated. But what else was he expecting? I mean, he was not prepared to go to the coronation lunch. He was not prepared to stay for the concert, for example, which is an opportunity where he could have been in attendance. It was more his sort of thing. So what was he expecting the royal family to do?
Well, he expects them to apologise. He expects them in his naive, stupid way to think that somehow it's all going to fall his way. And on the way back across the Atlantic, he'll have realised it hasn't gone his way and think, well, what am I now doing, can I do to make their life really infinitely more difficult and embarrass them? And I think he'll take comfort, as will, unfortunately, Meghan, from those who say that the balcony was too white. They'll take comfort from the fact that somehow they're above. They've thrown in the racist...
well, ITV said it was terribly white.
Terribly white. Shouldn't it be terribly black in a white country? I mean, it is just appalling. And unfortunately, we've reached a point now where the anti-monarchists will keep on pushing this colour issue, because the monarchy is easy to touch. We've reached now a point where, unless somehow Charles makes it clear that he's not going to sit around defenceless and silent, that the anti-monarchists like that, and Hobie, the actress from British Town, Olusoga, the Marxist historian given a free run on BBC, will just keep hitting, because they've reached a threshold and they now want to go further.
But the thing is, Tom, so much of that is the fault of Harry and Meghan, spreading what even they admit is false claims of racism within the royal family. I mean, you look at the Bridgerton woman, you look at Olusoga on the BBC and ITV, they are Harry and Meghan allies.
Well, Olusoga was in her Netflix programme. And that's the whole point. They actually, I don't think Harry, because he's not intelligent enough, but Meghan and her Netflix producers clearly see now this is the next step to undermine the monarch Charles, undermine King Charles, and somehow find a way in which they can destabilise Britain.
Do you think that's why Meghan didn't go? Because now she can say, I am not approving of the royal institution, that's why I didn't show up?
Of course. She didn't come because, I put it very simply, she didn't want to curtsy to the Queen and to Kate, but that was just the symbol. The reality is she wasn't going to take part in it. She sees her role as being the leader of the anti-royal faction, and Harry will feel somehow torn, but he'll just go along with whatever it is so he can stay in Montecito and not be homeless and junking around the world. And that is what's so really frightening, that somehow this American woke, anti-establishment, anti-white liberal democracy has now taken hold in Britain, that somehow the royal family, the soft target, is the first hurdle to overcome as the, what can I call the diversity extremists attempt to take over the institutions of this country.
He flies in alone, stepping out of the car with a sombre expression. No Meghan by his side, no Archie's laughter echoing in the halls, no Lilibet's tiny footsteps. Not even a proper seat among the senior royals awaits him. The message is clear. He's been pushed to the sidelines, a guest at his own family's most important event. He's in, he's out, and just like that, he vanishes back to California. No lingering for family photos, no heartfelt reunions, just a whirlwind visit captured by the relentless flash of paparazzi cameras before he disappears into the anonymity of an airport lounge. Now, according to Tom Bower, the investigative author known for pulling no punches and digging up royal secrets, Harry wasn't just sidelined, he was, in Bower's words, humiliated, completely rejected. The royal family, it seems, made a statement without uttering a single word. Harry's exclusion was as public as it was painful. No invitation to the celebratory concert, no seat at the family lunch, not even a brotherly handshake from William. The empty tables and vacant stages spoke volumes. Harry was left to wander the gilded halls alone. A prince in name, but a stranger in spirit. He walked in a royal and left a stranger. The distance between him and his family was more than just physical. It was emotional, a chasm that seems to grow wider with every public appearance. And if you believe Bower, Harry is now out for revenge. The tabloids are buzzing with speculation. Will he strike back with another tell-all, or perhaps a bombshell interview? The world waits, breath held, for his next move. But what about Meghan? Her absence was as conspicuous as Harry's isolation. The question on everyone's lips, why did she stay away? Here's where it gets wild. Bower claims Meghan refused to show up, not because of Archie's birthday, and definitely not for privacy at all. According to him, the real reason was far more personal and far more dramatic. She didn't want to curtsy to Camilla. The thought of bowing to the new Queen Consort, Bower says, was simply too much for Meghan to stomach. It wasn't about protocol, it was about pride, and perhaps unresolved tensions simmering beneath the surface. She wouldn't stand next to Kate either. The rift between the two duchesses has become the stuff of legend, with icy glances and whispered rumours fueling endless headlines. Meghan, it seems, wanted no part in the royal pageantry or the family drama, so she stayed in California, dodging headlines and maybe a royal humiliation. Instead, she surrounded herself with her children, her friends, and the sun-soaked comfort of Los Angeles. But even across the ocean, the shadow of the crown looms large. But Bower's take doesn't stop there. He's not just pointing fingers, he's painting a picture of a royal feud that's about to go global. He says Meghan's got a new mission to become the face of the anti-monarchy movement.
One worry, Tom, is that it sounds like King Charles, at least when he was the Prince of Wales, is very much listening to those people. This fascinating revelation today from Guito Harry, who was the Director of Communications for Boris Johnson last year. Charles criticises the Rwanda scheme. According to Guito, Boris squares up to him at this Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Rwanda, but critically also says to Charles, do not give this speech, opening the door to historic reparations over slavery. Charles ignores him and goes up on stage and does exactly that. And now he's king, and he continues to open the door to historic reparations.
Well, that has always been my great, one of my great arguments against Charles in my book, The Rebel King. It was always that he can't stop meddling. He has opinions. He will not allow his opinions to be challenged. He will never listen to anybody else if it doesn't agree with what he believes in. And he has this view, because he leads a privileged life, that somehow that sort of that Rwanda is wrong. But the truth is that if the Tory government sends the first plane to Rwanda, then Starmer is toast, because suddenly everyone will realise the Tory government can do what they like, what they promised. And this is where King Charles has a great problem. I don't think Prince William will have that, but Charles, having spent 60 years campaigning, cannot stop campaigning. He can't stay quiet. And that is my great fear. And the truth is about King Charles that for years as Prince of Wales, he took absolutely no interest in the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth is endangered by Prince Charles. He was forced to go to Africa and parts of Asia, and he really has no relationship with the Commonwealth. He doesn't want to travel there really now either. And so I think what we're going to see, which is very interesting, and I think we even saw that today, that King Charles plants a tree up in Sandringham, but Prince and Princess of Wales do the heavy lifting at the garden party.
Well, yeah, I wanted to ask you about William and Kate, because they had a spectacular weekend. Very much united behind Charles now. That wasn't always the case, was it? But that is going to be a huge help for the king.
Well, we saw that the moment Harry peeled off, that they delivered a united front and buried their differences, and the differences were...
It's almost like Harry saved their relationship.
Well, saved it. And in the end, it was also survival. I'm sure the Queen said to William, you really got to make up
the late Queen.
The late Queen, because it's vital for the survival of the monarchy. But I do think that Prince William has a very different approach. He's not an interventionist. He doesn't think about politics and things like his father did. So it's going to be very interesting, but also difficult to see how the king will interact with the political leaders and what William will do. Because, of course, Charles, in William's position, didn't stop interfering in politics.
No.
And that's now going to be...
William won't be that stupid, but I think the key question is the one that you've already raised. Will Charles be able to help himself? Because it is notable that one of the first people who he had for a sleepover, for want of a better term, at Windsor Castle when he became king. Apparently he's going to be doing this more often, you know, inviting people from various parts of the world, showbiz, sport, that sort of thing. But the person who he had on the first of these was Keir Starmer and his wife.
Yeah, and he does that because, quite rightly, he's got to pretend or show neutrality. The real problem is, what does he discuss with these politicians? Does he try to influence them, as he did with Tony Blair in favour of fox hunting and things like that? In my view, he will not be able to hold back because he has got such pronounced views. But he will put himself in the firing line of the diversity brigade, of the people who...
Yeah, because it's never going to be enough for them.
Exactly.
It's never going to be enough for them until he's not on the throne.
Exactly.
And that's what he's got to start realising.
Exactly.
No longer content to play by royal rules, she's stepping into the spotlight as a symbol of change, challenging the very institution she once married into. You heard that right. No more palace walls, no more royal rules, just a full-blown global feud. The battle lines are drawn not just in the UK, but across continents as the Sussexes and the monarchy face off in the court of public opinion. So what's next? According to Bauer, it's going to get even messier. The media frenzy is only intensifying, with every headline adding fuel to the fire. The royal family is under a microscope, and every move is dissected by experts and armchair critics alike. Will Harry double down and air out more dirty laundry? Will he reveal secrets that could shake the monarchy even further? Or will he retreat, choosing peace over more public battles? Will Meghan step back into the spotlight, ready to take aim at the monarchy? Or will she carve out a new path, using her platform to champion causes close to her heart, far from the shadow of the crown? And with all this chaos, can King Charles keep the royal family and the crown together? The pressure is mounting, and the world is watching to see if the new king can weather the storm, or if the cracks in the House of Windsor will finally split wide open. One thing's for sure, this isn't the end of the Sussex saga, not even close. The story is still unfolding, with new twists and turns around every corner. The world can't look away, and neither can we. If you're as hooked on this royal drama as I am, don't forget to hit like, smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. You won't want to miss a single update as this royal psychodrama continues to unravel, because, trust me, the next chapter is about to explode. The stakes have never been higher, and the fallout could change the royal family forever. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about the latest royal revelations? Are you Team Sussex, Team Royal Family, or just here for the drama? Is Tom Bauer exposing the real story, or just stirring up more controversy? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Your opinions matter, and I can't wait to read them. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned, because the royal psychodrama is only getting started. The next act promises to be even more dramatic, and you won't want to miss a moment.